She was almost 80 when I met her, an ordinary-looking woman in many ways. But she carried such joy that she got my attention. Her name was Esther. She'd been crippled, walking with a walker for over 10 years, when God supernaturally healed her as my pastor prayed for her. Esther was so grateful to God. She knew him. She knew him well. She knew him as few of us do. After her husband died, Esther found joy in her family. She didn't dwell on the loss of her husband of many years. They had been very close. She celebrated those she had left, and they loved her dearly in return. I came to know Esther well as she, our friend Gladys, Karen, my wife, and I went door to door in our small town and offered to pray for the people who lived in every home. We went every week until we covered every street in our town. It took months. We just wanted to touch people with the love of God, and we did. It was cold that winter, bitter cold. Esther never complained, and she never canceled. I watched her having joy through it all, knowing her bones were aching. I watched Esther as she listened to people with rapt attention. She connected with them. People opened up to her. They could tell she really cared. Esther prayed from intimacy with the Father. She and God were old friends, and she approached him as a much-loved daughter, one of her dad's favorites, knowing he would give her whatever she asked for. She just talked to him. It was so personal, so real. Her prayers made God real to the people she prayed for. Shortly after that, Karen and I moved away from Pennsylvania to South Florida. The next time we saw Esther, she was in a nursing home. We had talked a few times on the phone, and she was always upbeat, but we were concerned about her. We shouldn't have been. Upon arriving at the nursing home, Esther had rolled up her sleeves and gotten involved. She helped with social activities. She visited people who never had visitors, and she prayed. Oh, she prayed for the residents of that home. She prayed for their souls. She prayed for healing. She prayed for whatever people needed, including joy and peace in their final years. Esther moved into that nursing home not as just another resident, but as a servant of God, sent there to bless the people in that home. And she blessed them with her servant heart as she had blessed us in so many ways. We saw it firsthand. We talked to people and saw how they responded to her. And when we were alone, we asked, and Esther told us wonderful stories of what God was doing in that home. And we praised God together. Esther had health problems, but she wouldn't talk about those. They weren't on her radar. She was wrapped up in the lives of her family and her new friends at the home. I believe some of the greatest people in heaven will be some of the most humble people here on earth. The best definition of humility I've heard is attributed to Rick Warren, who said, "Humility is not thinking less of yourself. It's thinking of yourself less." C.S. Lewis in Mere Christianity described true humility. He said, "Do not imagine that if you meet a really humble man, he will be what most people call humble nowadays. He will not be a sort of greasy, smarmy person who's always telling you that of course he is nobody. Probably all you will think about him is that he seemed a cheerful, intelligent chap who took a real interest in what you said to him. You feel a little envious of anyone who seemed to enjoy life so easily. He will not be thinking about humility. He will not be thinking of himself at all." Lewis just described the life of our friend Esther. Humble, cheerful, and enjoying life so easily. Can you imagine going into a nursing home and visiting an old friend only to find out that she had more joy than you did? We didn't need to worry about Esther. We needed what she had. Esther had discovered that the secret of true lasting joy is not seeking joy for yourself, but for others. Matthew 23:11-12 says, "But the greatest among you will be your servant. Whoever exalts himself shall be humbled, and whoever humbles himself shall be exalted." Esther possessed a truly humble heart. When you were with her, her attention was on you. The way she listened made you feel special. She genuinely loved people, and it showed. She wasn't just curious. She would help people in any way she could. She gave them her time, her energy, anything else she could. Mostly in her later years, that was her powerful prayer and encouragement. She always believed the best of others and the best for others. Esther had faith that wouldn't give up on people. She lived 1 Corinthians 13:7. Love believes all things, looking for the best in each one. She chose to believe God's best for each person she met. The key to Esther's life, her consummate joy, was a servant heart. She was one of the few people I've met who truly didn't live for herself. She found joy in living for others. The result of Esther's servant heart was an extraordinary life, a life filled with extraordinary joy. She attracted people to her because of her buoyant spirit and infectious joy. She was fun, funny too. Even as her physical strength faltered, her joy never did. Her trust in Jesus never wavered. She saw life and people through his eyes, and it made her beautiful. I was inspired by my dear friend. She inspired me to live more for others. The times when I've cared more about others than myself, I've found that serving others is one of the secrets of true, lasting joy. Activation. Find true, lasting joy by seeking joy for others. Jesus, of course, is our role model. In Hebrews 12:2, it says, fixing our eyes on Jesus, the author and perfecter of faith, who for the joy set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and has sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. Our salvation from Satan, sin, and death is the joy set before Jesus. It's you. It's me. As others become the focus of our joy, our lives will be filled with joy, no matter what circumstances we live through. This is a precious, precious truth, and it's no longer a secret, not to you. Paul urges us to use the freedom Jesus joyfully gave us through the cross and his suffering. In Galatians 5:13, you, my brothers and sisters, were called to be free, but do not use your freedom to indulge the flesh. Rather, serve one another humbly in love. In other words, don't use your freedom just to pursue your own stuff, what you want. Don't live just for yourself. It's an empty way of life, and there's no joy there. Mark 10:45. For even the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve and give his life as a ransom for many. Just as Jesus came to serve others, true meaning, true purpose, and true joy in life is found when we serve others. Philippians 2:3. Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourself. Today's action step. Faith has to be activated. We need to act on it. I just revealed an amazing truth, one you probably already knew at some level. Psalm 34:8 invites us to taste and see that the Lord is good. This video invites you into an Esther lifestyle, a life focused on serving others in Jesus' name. Try it. Start simply and expect great joy to fill your heart. Today, throughout the day, find simple ways to seek joy for others. The opportunities may jump out at you as you focus your attention on noticing people. But if you don't have specific ideas, try just listening to people. Just listening, really listening, is powerful. When was the last time someone really listened to you? I mean, made eye contact, never glanced at their phone, ignored any beeps, whistles, bells, whatever, didn't back away while talking to you, and actually didn't look around the room. Listening is a gift that affirms the value of the person. Not listening communicates that we don't really value them that much. It really does. Many times, all people really need is to know that someone cares and someone understands. We all have a deep need to be known and to be understood. You have the power to give that to people you meet today. Quick note, you may feel their pain. If you really listen, you will have empathy. Empathy is great, but don't carry their burden. You're not wired for it. Jesus is. Give it to Jesus. Pray for them. People love to be prayed for. As you seek joy for others, the joy of the Lord will fill your life. Please share in the comments your experiences as you do this activation. Thank you. The end screen has 2 videos that will help you pursue this. Please watch them. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and thank you for doing the activation to let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. Romans 12:2, New Living Translation. Until next time, God bless.